Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm still in my suit because I've just filmed this video straight after the last one, and this is the topic of conversation for this video. Now you can probably tell what this is just from me showing it to you, but this is the tactical helmet that I use when I mostly play Airsoft. That does vary slightly, but I do think this is probably my favorite piece of headgear that I wear, mainly because of the functionality that it gives me. And I thought I would take you guys through it and, you know, why I've done certain things, what it is that I like about this, what it is I don't like as much about it. And hopefully that will let you guys make your own decisions on some of these products that are here shown on this helmet and whether you think it's a good idea doing it yourself or you have some comments to put below on why you do not think it's good. So this is the tactical helmet that I use. Generally, I play more milsim style airsoft. So that means obviously if I'm in Southern California, which is where I'm located, which is where I normally play, this is the multicam camouflage, as I just see that popped off, multicam camouflage that I use generally if I'm playing outside. So this is obviously the helmet cover kind of that I've got on here, plays much more with my multicam cry kind of BDUs that I use mainly. And this is, as a base, the Team Wendy, what is it called? It's the Team Wendy Exile LTP bump helmet with the Rail 3.0, which I don't know if that's that relevant to you guys, but it is actually a real steel helmet. Team Wendy make real steel helmets, ballistic helmets that are very well respected, I would say. They have a little bit of a different design and shape to them, which again, some people love, some people hate. I have a very odd taste where I generally will get stuff that is quite divisive. It's not your standard, okay, this is what everyone has. I like something a bit different. And actually, there's things that I don't like as much when I first think about getting them, and I actually end up liking the design, so I go for it. So it's hard to tell actually with this helmet cover on, but it does have some angles underneath here, which if you Google the helmet, you'll be able to see. But this is the Team Wendy Exile LTP bump helmet, and being a bump helmet, it's actually a polymer or plastic construction. It is not ballistic. So this again is used by real steel people who want what I want in airsoft, which is the functionality, rails, the ability to kind of have some protection, i.e. bumping your head, but not necessarily ballistic protection that you would probably want in a war zone, I expect, because you want to be able to stop bullets with your helmet, not just bumping it on things. But this is expensive. It is, as I said, kind of real steel because it is made by a real steel company, but doesn't do those ballistic things that you need a ballistic helmet to do. And the cost of this is $450. So I've had repro versions of this. I have to say, I don't think there's a massive difference. And again, in Airsoft, you're not needing it for that much. I would say the comfortability of it is better, and just weirdly in my head, because I know it's real steel, I think for some reason I know that I've kind of got something which is used by people who are using it in the real world, and something that is the best that I could get. Again, I'm stupid and I spend a lot of money on Airsoft, but that for me is kind of a big tick box in my head. So this being $450 is a lot of money, but it does mean that it has the real rails on it. It has the quality of production that you won't necessarily get with a repro. You can get very good repros for like $80, $90. I think you can get Team Wendy ones. You can get a whole load of different real steel versions, obviously made in that reproduction for good money, so, or for good prices. So don't look at this and say, this is what I have to spend to do a helmet. This is just, you know, one of those things that I've spent a lot of money on. So I thought I would show you guys what it is. So that's the base helmet. You can see actually one thing that Team Wendy are famous for, or what I've heard they're famous for, is this, which is your buckle strap system. What's really cool with this is you can tighten it by just twisting this, and you can pull this out, and that allows you to loosen the actual system, pop it back in and it locks it. You can kind of reattach it. It's got really good kind of harness straps in here, which basically just kind of secure the outside or the rim around your head. And I find it really, really comfortable. I know actually some people in my team that I play with who've just bought this harness, put it on their repro or even different style helmet, just because of the fact that they like this or kind of what the functionality of what this is. So they've put that in there. So I've done that. I've actually got some extra kind of padding in here as well that I put in. So I believe that was about $40 to get that. You don't need it. It has the kind of standard padding that you can see right there, but you can just add on this extra kind of attachment. It literally is just Velcro that sticks on there. So I like the helmet a lot. Next thing I've put on is the helmet cover. You can see one of the vents through there, if that's helpful. The helmet cover that I've put on, again, because it's Team Wendy, because it's this kind of individual shape with these Rail 3.0s on, it means that the Team Wendy helmet cover is going to be best. You don't have to put a helmet cover on this. I think they do make all different colors. I went for the coyote brown and then put the multicam helmet cover on. I think they do just a standard helmet which has the multicam pattern on it. So that might be something that you'd rather do and not have a helmet cover. I again like the helmet cover because it gives me these Velcro patches. One thing to mention is this rail. Again, it's something that some people love, some people hate. I've obviously got the Picatinny rail segments. It's got some attachments in here that I really like, and I'll go into that, how I run my headset. But it is, again, it's something which is a little bit Team Wendy exclusive, and they have different attachments that you can put on here. But I like it. I like how this actually sticks out kind of straight, so that you're not having that curve of the helmet, having to adapt and adjust things. But again, it's something that is individual really to Team Wendy, so you might love it, you might hate it. Probably ends up making you spend more money on different things. Another thing to mention actually is if you're running the Comtacs, which I'll talk through here, the normal Comtac attachments are kind of like a clip that go on here with two metal attachments that go onto the side of the Comtacs. It's not going to be easy to mount those as it would be with your standard style rail on a regular tactical helmet. But I actually like the rails on this, so I decided to go for that. As I was saying, so this has got Velcro patches all over it, on the rear, on the side, and on the top, and at the front here. So I like being able to attach things onto it. So I liked the helmet cover. Helmet cover cost is $105, which is a lot of money. So you're spending $550, $555 for the helmet and the bump and the cover before you've even done anything, which is a lot. Next thing I've put on here is my Comtac Vs. These are real steel. I'll open that and show you. These are real steel headsets. Comtacs generally are very, very well respected. And so this is obviously giving me the ability to have communications with my team. This has got a PTT, or a push to talk, that goes down into a little button which attaches to my radio. But it's going to be really good quality sound. It means that I can communicate with my teammates pretty easily. And it also gives me noise protection. So if I have a real steel firearm that's going off making loud bangs, it's not going to damage my ears. This has something where it will effectively put out white noise, or it will block loud bangs, which is why they have them in real steel, or in the actual military. That's why they're used pretty much everywhere. Comtac make versions of these that just do that sound dampening and don't have the actual comms thing. They're a lot cheaper. These are $750. Again, you can transfer this onto other things. You can get a rail, which just means that they mount on your head. So it's multifunctional, where you can plug it into a radio and also you have hearing protection. But they're $750. I think without the comms ability, it's probably around $400, $450. So you don't need these real ones. You can get repros again. They more look the same and will have that same ability to communicate, not at the same level, and they are not tested and battle proven like these are, and it will not normally have a good situation where it's eliminating that bang. We're playing airsoft, so at the end of the day, the elimination of a bang is not that important. I would say though that when I've played indoors with this and I've used things like thunder bees or loud grenades that are making a loud bang, whether that's pyro or non-pyro, these really cut that sound out. And I don't realize, but when I've used Thunderbees in that situation, I'll speak to other players and they were like, that was so loud because it's reverberating inside. And this really cuts that out. So there is no issue. It kind of kills the flashbang in a room. Obviously, you're going to get blinded, etc. But it really does eliminate that. And I played recently at a organized game where it was using a huge amount of real steel style flashbangs and tag-ins, which make a lot of noise, spray dried peas everywhere. And this really was necessary. You couldn't have played without something that was doing this. I think you can get repros of these for about $80. The more you spend on the repro, the better you're going to get. So I would say if you're going to go the repro route, then spend more and get what you want. $750 is crazy, especially for Airsoft. So that's what I'm running here. Another thing actually that I've done is changed out the cups. They come with these cups, which are fine, but you can get these gel cups, which just attach onto the edges. And these make these very, very comfortable. You can probably see here. I'll put this on at the end just so that you guys can see how silly I look wearing a suit with a helmet on. But that does make it super comfortable. The suction on there is great. If I'm sweating, it means that it's kept out of there. But you can get these for about $40, $50. And I would say if you're buying the Comtacs and you're spending $750, spend that extra money just to get these gel cups is what they're called for that extra bit. Next thing I've done is this, which are the AXL RAC Link Gen 2s and also the kit. So this little attachment here, this plastic, it basically is an adapter which allows you to use these, which are really for the Ops Core headset that will attach normally to that. And it allows you to take these and then basically make the adapter work with a Comtac. And the reason that I do it is because I like the idea of being able to just push these away. And I like how, I'll just give you a little preview now. I like how comfortable, if I can put this on, I like how comfortable it makes it, because it means that I can push those up, I can rotate them up, which I'm not going to do now. But when I click these in, that's really secured me in that position. And it really is there. I find with the regular Comtac mounts, which go from the side, it sticks out a bit. And I just don't like how it's kind of on top of my head there. You can rotate them similarly, but I really like these Ops Core style rear mounts, and they fit perfectly if you've got the adapter on the Team Wendy Rail 3.0. And so these are made by AXL, and you can get these, I believe they're $80. Yeah, 2 plastic pieces. They're going to attach onto these Ops Core mounts. Ops Core mounts are about 200, I believe. I need to double check that. But these are really good. They're real steel. You can get copies of these. You can get copies of these which have adapters on them. And I would say you can go that route, but I did buy one before I bought these and they broke very, very quickly. So if you're going to have the real steel, if you're going to have expensive repros, get the real Ops Core. They have a great kind of system here where they're pushing the actual wire between them through these little holders. Where are they? Here. And that means that you can kind of tuck them away within the helmet. You can also run them internally, but I actually liked running it on the exterior. And this on the helmet cover has a little flap here that you can open up. You can put really wires in there. I don't know what else you would put in there. But that is something that I think are great. I found them. It's AXL. I'll put descriptions below of what they are. You can also get their full kit, which is another $237. That basically is allowing, it's kind of like a little wrap that you can get instead. I think it's a bit more low profile, but it's kind of like that Tegris, I think they call it, material. It'll kind of lock it in, and you can adapt that to pretty much any kind of headset that you want. The problem is Ops Core are built for Ops Core, and they'll have an attachment here. Really, the Peltor Comtacs are their own thing. They've got their own little attachments on the side, so you need that adapter. But if you have any questions about that, guys, I definitely did a lot of digging and a lot of research into how to do this, and it took me a long time. So that is something I'll definitely answer questions for you guys on if you have any questions on that. Next thing I have done is this, which is the Princeton Tech Switch Light. These are great. I only really use these in milsim environments. I'll try and give you an idea there. You can see you've got a red light. You can switch that to white light as well. But if you are in a milsim west or wherever you're playing and you're playing at night, being able to use a red light just gives off such less of a signature. You know, so if you're reading a map, your instructions, whatever it is, just being able to just pop that on as it's on your head, just hit that pressure switch and it just turns that red light on, has different brightnesses. So it's a great little attachment. It will go onto like a Picatinny side mount. So that's great. And these are $55. Again, real steel. You can get them on Amazon, which, you know, is a great place to be able to get them quickly. But it's something that I don't use that often, but it's good to have there. There's no real disadvantage to having it attached. It doesn't really take up any space. This thing will move around. Really well built, so something I've got on there. The other thing I've got on here is this, which is the helmet light. I actually need to put a battery in this because I think I haven't done that at the moment, or I left it on, sorry, so I need to change the battery out. But this will give me a red light on the back of my head. If I'm playing with an indoor, especially if I'm playing with a load of guys that I play with normally and we all have that red light behind our heads, it really prevents me from putting friendly fire shots into the back of them. A lot of the time, you know, you may have like a little light on your front or on your arm, or like a, you know, piece of tag. But if you or your teammates all have that going, I think that that's really good. And these you can get real steel are expensive. They're like $1,000 or something. This version, which actually also has strobe on it, and it also has IR light that it gives out. That is a cost of $33. And again, you can get it from Amazon. If it's Airsoft, I really don't think you're going to need the real steel. And if you are using night vision, one thing to mention is that the enemy are also going to be able to see that if they're using night vision. So you won't necessarily always use that. If you're coming into a situation like Op4 Milsim West and they don't have night vision and you want to use this, then that's great because your teammates can identify you from a long way away, but it will give away a signature you may not want. This is my favorite thing, which is probably the reason that I run a helmet nearly all the time. Occasionally I will wear a cap with, you know, some of these on there with just a headset, but it's hard to run this. And this is a pouch, which is $20 from a company called EXFog. And this is an EXFog unit, as you can see there. And what this does is it's basically a fan and it runs air through these tubes. I have run the tubes internally. I'll show you here, underneath, through the back here and through to the front of my helmet. And I have two little wires, which you probably can't tell unless I'm pointing them out to you. But I have two little of these tubes that run out the front of my helmet. And the reason for that is it stops fog, hence EXFog. I get a lot of fogging in my goggles, whether it's playing outside, inside. I think I run hot, but the main issue that I really have is sweat. I don't know why, but I sweat a huge amount from my head. I actually wear like a balaclava normally with a mesh face protection, and I use these, which are Oakley M frames. So they're pretty lightweight. They shouldn't fog up. It's not like wearing goggles, but I have a lot of sweat that runs down my face. And even though I wear a sweatband, I'll get actual liquid that comes down and is on the goggles. When I use this unit, there's 3 levels of fan, 1, 2, and 3. The 3 is obviously the most powerful, and it will just blow air through these little tubes. And what I have on these M frames, and these aren't actually made by EXFog, you have to buy them separately, but it's like an inside little, I'll show you here, an inside piece which attaches. And as you can see, there's vents that come through here. So I stick the little tubes that come through into these, and it blows air across the front of my glasses the entire time that I'm playing. And there's definitely times when, you know, you're not that interested in cleaning your goggles, or, you know, it's getting fogged up. I find if I'm, you know, going into intense situations, I start to sweat more. I don't know if you guys are the same, but that's not great for when I'm trying to play. So having the ability to always have that clear, whether it's actual fog or it is sweat. It really works perfectly. So it's something I could not recommend more. I've had guys that I play with, and I'll show you how this works quickly. I won't turn it on, but I'll show you how it works. So if I've got my helmet on here, I've got my contacts here, and then I'll put this in here, and I will literally, before each game, as I come out of the safe zone, just take these 2 little tubes and I'll pop them in here. And that means I've got sunglasses versions of these as well, but it means that I constantly have air just being pushed in here, and I've never fogged up using them. I've tried the goggles which have the fan built in. Doesn't seem to work for me, or they don't seem to work as well. So EXFOG unit is perfect for me. That is $45, the actual unit, the kit with the tubes. You can also get a mount which allows you to just mount it to your head or to a cap. But really, if you get this thing, you can actually use any rear pouch for a helmet. It'll fit in nearly all of them. What I do quite like is if I have a bigger one that I will use sometimes. If I'm running night vision on the front here, you may want a bit more weight just to even it out. So I've got another version of that. Obviously, I've got a patch here, my half America or half US, half UK patch. I am now a US citizen and a UK citizen, so I quite like just running both flags. You could obviously put anything you want on there. This case is $20, and the actual EXFOG kit, which is the essential kit, price is $45. I think if you're getting all the headbands, etc., it's like $60. So one of the best investments that I've made, and probably the reason why, even if I'm not wearing a plate carrier, I'm not wearing my full gear, I'll just use this because of the fact that I can have that EXFOG on. Otherwise, I have to work out how I'm going to do it. It means I've got comms, I've got EXFOG. It really is the thing that I want. And this little gasket thing in here, I don't know what they call it. They call the Valhalla VMAX Gen 2 Airflow gasket. And this is for the M Frame 3.0. They also make it, I think, for the ESS goggles. And this is $45. So you're really going to need this. You have different attachments that you could attach it to a goggle set. You could attach it to different stuff. But I love using these M frames. And these really help in 2 ways. One, they're obviously giving me the airflow, which is keeping my fog gone and the sweat, but it also actually gives me a full seal. Generally, these will give me nearly a 90% seal, but they won't quite seal everything. I'll show you. I've got another. I'll use these ones if I'm outside, just because obviously it gives me, but there is a tiny gap right there, which you probably can't even see. I can't quite fit my finger through, but a BB could go through that. I can just switch these over onto any of my M frames, and obviously I don't play with these indoor in the dark, which is why I have these on right now, the clear lenses, but it gives me that full seal, so I don't have the worry of, oh, am I going to damage my eyesight if I get shot in an area that kind of pops a BB in there. So those are $45, the Valhalla VMAX Gen 2 Airflow gasket, so definitely search those. These are pretty crazy. It's not really part of the tactical helmet, but these are $227. Now, they're ballistic rated, they're made by Oakley, they're used by a lot of real steel soldiers, people in conflict zones, and I really like them. So if you're thinking what glasses to get, I think the ESS ones are very cheap and they're also very good. But this is something that if you want to spend the money and get it, the M Frame 3.0s, they do different versions, more coverage, less coverage, but I really like the 3.0s. They're $227. Now, the other reason that I love using my tactical helmet is the fact that I have this on the front, which is great for my night vision, and I haven't got that here. I was going to bring it out and show you how that attaches, but actually I'm going to do a separate video on my night vision, so you guys can subscribe, like, etc., so that you can tune in and see that. But this is the Team Wendy mount, and what it allows me to do is put one of these on here, which is a GoPro mount. So that effectively will attach in here. It'll click right in. I'm not going to click it in now, but that means that I have this, which I can then, actually what I'm going to do is this way, this, which I can then mount my GoPro straight to, which means I have that FPV shot. I find that this version where it has an arm that protrudes means that you can angle it down. I have found you can get other ones, but it is an odd, it either sticks up right above the helmet, which is fine, but does look a bit weird and isn't as easy if you're trying to go through spaces. and also won't, you know, if it's straight out, you really want it tilted down a bit, because then you can kind of see what you're doing with your hands, not just what your eyesight's doing. And when you're making content for Airsoft, people want to see the replica, they want to see what's going on, the reloads, etc. So I really like that. So this allows me to put that on. This, I had actually found this GoPro mount on Amazon. I just checked and you can't get it anymore. I think you can find these, you know, I think they were maybe on Etsy and a couple of other sites. But message me or drop a comment below and I'll try and find a link for one of these. This was called a helmet mount GoPro and it was $10. So you can get these plastic things, get a couple of them if they break, not a big deal. You can stick kind of any GoPro on there with a GoPro mount. So actually, I've got this one for my surfing. It's like a mouth mount, but that camera is perfect. I like small cameras. I don't like big ones, and I don't like them with screens on the back because they can get shot out. I will put a lens cover on here. I'll talk about cameras in another video. But the other thing that I love about this is I use this, which is the Runcam Helmet Camera, a pretty new camera you can use. But this will literally just pop on the side here onto the Velcro, and I can change the direction of this. I can shoot in portrait or in landscape, and it allows me to have a mount which is solid for my GoPro or my scope cam filming. So it's a great advantage. This keeps coming off, so I need to make sure I look at this, and because that wouldn't be great in a game. I mean, you'd still have half the airflow coming through. And it's also quiet. I do hear it slightly in the Comtacs because of the fact that it amplifies noise that isn't loud. So I do hear it a little bit, but it's not very loud at all. It's a very quiet fan in general. That Runcam, just in case you're wondering, this guy, the helmet camera, very affordable. This is $60. So even compared to the ones that you put onto your replica, I love this, and I'll run it indoors and turn the exposure right up, and it'll even capture a pretty good picture in low light. So I like this a lot. I'll do a video on this so you guys can get that. But anyway, guys, that is my helmet setup. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, as I said, let me know, and I will do a parts list just below of all the different things I've put on there. So if you're watching this and you're like, what was that called again, you can just look below and see it there. Thanks guys so much. I will speak to you all soon, and have a great day.